for tuning into my channel. And I just came across this. I subscribed, of course, to my friend Rick Beato. Well, not really a friend as such, but we've been in touch in 2016 when he started his channel. By then, my channel had much more viewers, much more subscriptions, and on my Tinder, I had not Tinder. Sorry, there was no Tinder. My Twitter, I had people like Stella McCartney and stuff. But okay, I don't want to get into that. So I asked him to produce one of my songs, and obviously he didn't bother to reply, which is fine because after he opened up his YouTube channel, I think after 3 days he had more subscription than I accumulated in 2 years. And I'm on 14,000 and started in 2015, and he's on 2.6 million, I think, started a year later than me. But you can't compare. I mean, of course, always nice, always nicely shaved, a gentleman, has an amazing video. I can't even afford a backdrop, so makes no difference. And his son, I think he's called his son Lennon, like Gallagher. I call myself Johnny. So you see, so we have a lot of things in common. Unfortunately, nothing musically, because the guy is a fantastic guy. He's definitely a musician. He also a good marketing guy. He also know how to kind of make it sound so amazing, you know, the fifth over the sus, and then an extended power slide chord on the eighth, and then F over G major flat dismiss sus4, and you think you're looking at this video and you think like, is that how is this even possible? How I mean, this is, and then you go online searching these chords, and yeah, they're all available, but those are some piano chords which you usually hold down with 10 fingers. Yeah, so on the guitar it's difficult. Like you can't. You have only 6 strings, so you can't push a string like twice. It's not possible because the piano is huge. Anyway. So let's come back to Adele. So he recorded this morning this that he can't believe that Adele did it, and so on and so forth. Just a quick one. I don't know. It's a piece of the pizza from last night. Don't matter. Right. I'll get so hungry, and this video is going to be long. So, listening what he says, and he analyzes the song, which is great. I think I don't know how he gets away with it, because he listens to the real song. So anytime I'm using 2.5 seconds of anyone else's material on YouTube, I'm already getting like a strike. This guy plays the song from a lot of artists, and he has millions of views. I don't know, the same rules don't apply. So not a big fan of this kind of guys, like presidents, because if I make a lie, it's a case and I go to prison, yeah? But all those ministers and presidents and senators, they all did a lot of fraud and stuff, and then nothing happened. So I imagine this is a little bit on YouTube as well. If you're somebody, then you can get away with much more than the regular Joe. So I'm not Joe, I'm just saying. Now, Adele, first of all, a Tottenham girl, and that's one of the reasons. And more or less that's the only reason she appeals to me, because I've got a gaff in Tottenham. So maybe we crossed our ways, and you know, who knows, if I go through all these pictures, I maybe even had a little go back then, because you know we lived in the same part of town, and you know I was a bit odd there. Now I looked a bit like scruffy and stuff, but you know, I was a bit. You know, I came to London 2000, and I had a good go, So I can't complain. So when she turned up, I'm like, I checked my pictures, but she wasn't there. But you know, maybe in a bar, so you never know. So she's great. Being from Tottenham. Musically, do I want to go so far and say musically genius? Yes, but then no. So yes or no, and why I say yes and why I say no, I will explain. Now, Rick says wow, the song, and this goes up and goes down and sideways and goes everywhere. But it's just a piano. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, wow, to work all these chords out, it's not necessarily easy. Of course, she's musically trained. I'm not sure if she did the Paul McCartney school in Liverpool, but I think she did one of the major London schools. Or was it Emmy who did the one in for Paul McCartney in Liverpool? I don't know. I think it doesn't matter. But then Rick comes in and says, "Oh yeah, but who is the producer?" And I'm like thinking, "Excuse me, producer? I mean, I don't. I've never been produced yet, but it will happen eventually. But if you're such a great artist, why you then need such a great producer? That doesn't really make sense. Because, example, Queen, they were fantastic artists, and they produced most of their songs themselves. Yeah, they had a technician to mix and stuff, but they didn't really need a producer, because if you're really that great, then I don't think don't need a great producer. And which kind of production needs to go into if someone plays on a piano, someone plays a drum kick on a drum machine, and Rick is going like, wow, so dramatic. Boom, boom. Okay, fine. And then someone plays a bass. But it's a real bass. Yeah, well, up until the 80s, I think, or early 90s, which bass was there. So of course it's a real bass. And in the beginning he's going like, oh, this is a real piano. I mean, yeah, all right, okay, yeah, sure. So wow, what a big deal. And then he goes, Rick. So that's what I'm saying. The guy's a bit of a show off, I mean, he knows his stuff. He's a jazz guy. He said he can play everything. But he's a businessman. He's a marketing guy. Yeah. That's why we came together actually, because this new song app. He had this app, or still has, I think, where you take an earphone and put it on the belly of your wife. My belly would work. No, it needs to be like a pregnant woman. And then this classical music and stuff goes to the baby. So when the baby comes out, it will be absolutely musical and super smart. Now we did that on our first child, Johnny. He's not interested in music at all. On the second child, we kind of said, oh yeah, we did bits and bobs, but hardly nothing. The guy's a real artist. So as I said, I'm not too sure. But then again, Johnny is smart, I think. But the reason he's smart, because I'm pushing with 3 languages. I speak English, sort of. I speak German, sort of, and I speak Hungarian, sort of. So, you know, fluently. So all my language are on the same level. So I think his smartness comes because I push him with all these languages and all the knowledge I have. But I don't think he's gonna be musically. But right, so that's why I met Rick through that new setup. Or check it out. This guy is very expensive, and at the time it didn't work on Android, so that really puts us off because we had to use a shitty, a small iPhone which we borrowed from our daughter, and then she was cheesed off that the baby gets preferences. I mean, the baby was in my partner's tummy. Okay. Right, so going back to the story, then Rick goes, wow, who recorded this? And I'm thinking again, excuse me? This is a piano. Yeah, a piano only. And the voice. Now, what do you mean, who recorded it? I mean, what do you need to record a piano? I don't know. I never recorded the piano, but I can imagine if you have a couple of very decent microphones. I say a couple, don't overkill it. A couple of very decent microphones for the piano, and then one for the voice. I think that this equipment, and this is not for them yet, because at the moment I'm not approached by people to review their stuff. But my time will come soon or later, but it will. So I think if I plug in the one of the microphones here, and then is there another line in, and then another like a mixer with a couple of microphones, the piano. I can record the Adele song, the voice and the piano with that machine just as good. I mean, guys, it's digital, isn't it? It's digital. It's 1 and 0. Now, it doesn't really matter how you twist and turn it. You can record anything on any equipment which is digital the same way. Because a number one, it's a number one in China, it's a number one in Afghanistan, and it's a number one at the Silicon Valley in San Francisco, California. So a 0, yeah, if you're 0, you are 0 everywhere in the world. If you're 0 from the left, like an idiot, and you're going to the Maldives, you're still gonna be an idiot. It's not gonna change anything, yeah? If an equipment is capable to record digitally, then there is no issue with the quality. So that's what I'm saying. So this Rick Beato, my friend, the way I call it, my lost friend, it's a bit of a showboat, but he's doing a good show, and the lighting is nicely set up in the studio. Look, oh, sorry. Look, I have to deal now. This almost fall down. I have to feed my child. Our living room is smaller than Rick Beato's toilet, so his studio is twice the size of a house. So I mean, look at my backdrop. This is from Pound Shop. Yeah, this is a piece of bamboo from the streets. Somebody else's fence. Okay, it's not from this country, coming from Asia, but obviously someone bought it here. A clip. It's one of those clips. Yeah. So, and then I have a bit of wire here, which I found in the rubbish. Someone thrown out, and then you have this board with a nail in it. So this is the equipment. This is the environment I'm doing my work. So of course your videos, my videos are not appealing to you that way, because it's not really professional. But everybody would sit in a studio like Beato, have some knowledge about music and all these instruments, all these guitars and all these amps and everything. It wouldn't make him a great musician, but he would look much, much, much better, yeah, and much, much more viewers. So, Rick, this is for you and also for Adele. This machine could have recorded that song by Adele just as good, fact, because it's a digital recorder, yeah, and it converts the analog signal into digital. Now, a different story is back from the, I think, 90s, it already started with digital recording, maybe even late 80s, I'm not sure. But let's say cutoff point 79. In 79, nobody recorded digitally. I'm pretty sure about that. Let's say. So 80s, I don't know anymore. But until 79, I don't think anyone recorded. Now, on that made a big difference, because the quality of the tape which recorded it, now that makes a huge difference. Now, nobody could have recorded at home a song like big stars in the 70s on a small little machine, those tape machines. That wouldn't have been possible. But now in the digital world, who recorded it? I mean, I don't know. Maybe Adele, if she would have been a bit smart, she would have bought one of these, I think £200, plug in the piano. There's a level, you can set the level, how high it can go. So the peak, put in a couple of microphones here, for the piano, and you play, press record, and you record it. No big deal. Now, but since she's working with a world famous producer, it begs the question, now hang on, maybe Adele came in with a few basic chords, yeah? Played it to the producer took it away, and then made it to an amazing masterpiece. Like ABBA. Do you guys believe that the 4 people, when ABBA went into the studio and came out with a song like Chiquitita, or The Winner Takes It All, or thank you for the music. No, they had a lyric, they had a grand idea on the guitar and piano. They had the best studio musicians Sweden and for that matter Europe had to offer. Went in the studio with these guys and they worked everything out. They produced the song, and when the song was ready, ABBA went on stage and played. Now, we're not going to take anything about the knowledge and about the quality of ABBA. No, of course not. You still have to write the songs. But ABBA was not capable to produce and to arrange the way those studio musicians could. Toto, for instance. I mean, didn't make it very big, but those are 4 or 5 studio musicians. It's a different story. Now, but you have to keep listening to this because this is where the magic starts. Not taking anything away from Rick Beato, no. Not taking anything away from Adele. However, 3 records in 10 years and all of them diamond. Well, yeah, thank you very much, Bob Dylan, because when the wind is blowing in your face and the whole world is on your case. You're 19 years old, yeah? Record that song. Have connections, good friends who post it all over social media. Back then, when this came out, social media compared to today, everybody's on it today. Back then, only selected people were on. But people really had a chance to put their stuff out, yeah? And people listened because it wasn't too much available. Now, everybody puts their crap out. I mean, look at me. So, that song, single-handedly, in my opinion, shoot her to the stratosphere. Again, let's not take anything away from the lady. Then the big boom was, wow, Adele. And then I think 5 years later, she came out with 25, but then already in America. And you guys know how things in America work. Now, but with the new album, I'm not following Adele. It's not my cup of tea. I know I like one song, which is the Bob Dylan song. And I don't like it because it's Bob Dylan, because I actually realized that much, much later that it's a Bob Dylan song. That song genuinely caught me. I know the place where I was, I know what I did, and that song came on, and I went like, who is this? Listened, but then a week later I figured out it's Bob Dylan. So if you cover a song, I give you only 20% of the credit, because yes, she did very well, she sang well, she played well, but it's not her song. So, it's like playing a poor movie, but you use someone else's thing, so it's not the same. It's not the same. You still in the movie, but now with the third album, I'm just driving, minding my business, taking the kids to school, and on a radio, which is I don't want to mention the name because they're not here to defend themselves. Shitty LBC from London. I think Sheila Fogetti. I see the hurricane is rising. Sheila Fogetti said, yeah, and Adele gave an interview in Forbes, or not Forbes, was it Vogue or Forbes, whatever, one of those newspapers. And all right, okay, whatever, and about the divorce, and that she can't believe that she kind of divorced us so short, and because of her child, and what's gonna happen now with the poor 9-year-old son. If my mother is a multi-trillionaire, it's gonna be such a difficult thing for him to digest. But all those pregnant ladies and mothers and fathers left alone and dumped and screwed and raped and robbed and taken the mickey out of in Tottenham, what about them, baby? You made it big in the US, yeah? And you worry about one son who grew up with a silver spoon in her mouth and his mouth. What about the others who didn't even have a plastic spoon? The mother had to go into the butter with her finger, which she worked the gardening, doing gardening all day or doing all the cleaning, then go into the butter with her finger, take it out and put it in her mouth, because that's the way, that's the real life in Tottenham. You not worry about them? Didn't you come back and set a couple of million for a community center in Tottenham, for youth center, where people actually can go and study music? What did you do for Tottenham? Tottenham did a lot for you, but what did you do for Tottenham? Maybe you did something, but I can't remember. Anyway, so giving all this story, and I'm like seeing on the radio, and I'm like, the reason I'm listening to LBC, because I want to educate myself, not with the news, but with the language. And those presenters are very well spoken, and my English is extremely bad, so I'm always trying to improve. So I'm listening to people who, because I was taught English by working class. So I can't, and I miss those words, I miss those phrases. I picked up English on the street, basically. So that's the reason I'm listening to LBC. But then when you listen, you have to listen to all this crap as well. Another day later, another presenter, yeah, Adele this and Adele that, and I'm like, what's going on here? And now this morning, via Rick Beato, I realized what's going on. Yes, she wrote a decent song. I don't want to go so far as say greatness. Yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody, that's greatness. That's for me where greatness begins. Playing a song on a piano and sing, yeah, it's good, it's fantastic, but greatness is a bit more than that. For me, greatness is when 4 or 5 musicians work in perfect harmony, and work things out between them. I think that's where greatness starts musically for me, not when one person plays piano with an absolute awesome producer who possibly sorted those chords rightly out for her. I don't know. But if I'm that great, why do I need a great producer for? If I'm a fantastic musician and can work out everything, what is the producer doing? Telling me that, oh, hang on, that one kick drum needs to come in right now. Boom. Yeah, all right. But greatness. So she came out like the people on X Factor and Britain's Got Talent, where they say, "Oh yeah, I got my father left me, and I lost the little nail on my finger." And everybody feels for them. Everybody's going like, "Oh my God, this is such a tragedy." All those plastic people, that Simon Castle, whatever he called, he can't even laugh, because if he would drink something and he would laugh, then the drink would come out of his mouth. Let me show you. There's a little bit of drink here. This is the problem with these people. This is the problem with these people with all these botox, bollocks, and whatever. So the drink is like, they always smile because all the botox they put in is like. Because the muscles the muscles don't work in their face. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's like sitting on the judge. Welcome to America, or the best thing in America, or American Style, whatever, GBT or LCB or whatever, or is it LGBT or no? Britain's Got Talent, BTG. Everybody sees like it, yeah. Those people are sitting in the judges, like, and I'm saying like, oh, and I lost my glasses and I couldn't see the text, or some, my grandmother's son's sister's girlfriend had cancer, and they came up with this story, and everybody's like, oh, I wish you all the best. So do the performance, yeah. So this is exactly the same what Adele did. So she downloaded this bullshit story about the divorce, which, look, man, if it's a divorce, it's a divorce. So how you can't talk it nice, you can't talk it bad. This is what it is. What is there too much to talk about? If you're a multimillionaire, yeah, living huge mansions and stuff, you have a son, you think 1,000 people looking after you, yeah. And then, of course, after she did all these interviews and everything, she dropped the single. And all those losers, yes, all those failures, all those unfortunate people, all those divorced women, or the ones who wants to be divorced, all those mothers, all those fathers, all those everybody, excluding me, because I can't get divorced. It's easy. You can. Divorce is no good. You can't get divorced. And you know how I can do that? Don't get married. Then it's just a separation. You separated, yeah. Doesn't sound as bad as divorce, is it? No. Just separate. Separate. Divorce, you don't. Marriage was interesting when people lived until they're 35 years old. Because then you married someone when you were 15, and you know I only have to hang around for 20 years max, and I can do that. But for me to guarantee that I'm gonna be with the same woman for 60 years, hopefully, but it's difficult. I can't promise that in front of God. Not that I'm such a religious person, but for me to promise in front of God that I'm always gonna take care of her and look after her in good times and in bad times, I don't wanna lie to God. As I said, I'm not going to the church, maybe once a year. Haven't been, I think, for 10. But that's not the point. I do have a belief, yeah? And I do not want to promise things which I am not sure to be able to keep, right? So, when she downloaded all this story, she dropped the record, and of course, everybody just clicked on it. And now it's easy. You have a subscription, you go on Spotify, click, 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 click. Of course, people. Now, but I wonder, back in the 70s, the 60s, 70s, when you actually had to go to stage and perform, yeah, and there were no social media, there only was newspaper and a little bit of television and radio. Would she really sell 10 million records within a week? Highly unlikely. You can't compare with the Beatles, can you? Neither with the Stones, neither with Led Zeppelin. Just you can't. It's a different animal. So in a nutshell, 750,000 views for Rick. Yeah. I'm working my butt off for half an hour. I think 3 people tuned in. Maybe not everything I'm saying, but I'm pretty sure 90% what I'm saying here, if you really analyze it, is 100% true. Okay? And I'm not going anywhere. And this is just because I have a crappy backdrop, a filthy beard, and I send out the message that I have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. Because how can you trust a man with a backdrop like that and with clothes like that, living in a house like this? Can you? No, you can't. I wouldn't watch myself either. And this is precisely the problem on YouTube. The shine, the glamour, the fake, the rubbish is promoted. And when someone comes and actually says that a machine like that is completely capable to record Adele's voice and her piano just as good as the best recording computer in the world, then people say I'm an idiot. But since I'm an electronics engineer and I know that digital is 1 and 0 and that analog signal will be converted into digital, you can't say that, oh yeah, but your digital chip doesn't have the quality of mine. Now, I'm not talking about use this as mixing and mastering. No, just to record. So Rick is going like, who was the recorder? Who recorded this? Well, who recorded this? Anybody had a machine like that, I suppose. So thank you very much for tuning into my to my morning show. And I do have Rick's email address, so I'm going to send it to him. He's not going to watch it, but at least then it just to shout it in a little bit. We've been in email, and that he didn't want to produce my song. I wrote a German song. It didn't hurt me at all, but that he ignored me and didn't get back to me. That was a bit like, but then he opened up his own channel, and overnight he became a rock star. I think he made more money with YouTube and had more recognition than he ever did with his music, because before 2016 I never even, I think in that scene nobody ever heard. If you ask about Rick Beato in anywhere in Europe, nobody. I thought he's a football player or something. You don't know. But of course, YouTube makes people great and great people greater, but even crappy people like me, in your eye, I also have a stage. And am I funny? Am I not? Now this is for you to decide. But the whole point is that the day will come where people will be paying to listening to my crap. Now, am I funny or am I not? You decide for yourself. I know what I am, and I know deep in my heart and in my bozo that if you analyze everything I said and you come on a one-to-one with me, and that can be the best recording producer and the best artist and the best quote finder in the world, or Nick Ferrari or James O'Brien, but not in a show where you can turn my voice down. No, no, a one-to-one where you have to listen to me. I will give you a good go for your money. Anybody, in any topic, except maybe rocket science. But if you don't give anyone a voice because you have a little fader which you can fade them out, or hit the button, I'm not interested in listening to you, well then, it's easy game. Anyway, dogs for chewing my channel, like, share, comment on the post. Whoopee! Auf Wiedersehen und lass Sam next day.